sometimes in this space, you get people that are tokenizing just for the sake of tokenizing and put it on the blockchain just to say they put it on the blockchain, and there's no point in it, right? They're just riding maybe the latest buzzword.
Yes.
But it actually doesn't make practical sense.
No, it doesn't. And, the finance industry that we are trying to disrupt, there's a lot of things that, that they've gotten wrong in the evolution of their business. But one thing that they did get right is, creating digital representations of physical assets. Like that's, it's something that, again, people are attaching to because it is the, flavor of the week.
Okay, and they've done that really well because you have a futures contract with a ticker symbol, and commodities markets have done that effectively. Banking has done that effectively in the past.
Yes, and our goal is to be able, there's a couple of things you need to be able to build a new market within an exchange itself, right? And I talk about the market as in let's say I want to create a market for lithium or another energy adjacent asset, for instance, that might power an EV battery or, be used in what you would consider broadband energy production 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years into the future. The reality is you need, of course, a stable method for discovering price, and then you need liquidity. If you can get the recipe for those two things correct, you can create any market in the world that effectively is physical, and you want to transcend across that digital boundary.
Okay. Now, can you tokenize a perpetual future, something that is going to be alive forever? And does that make sense?
You can, but you have to ask yourself, why would you, right? Because the futures contracts, when I purchase a futures contract on the CME, for instance, right? Like the majority of the volume is done monthly, right? Like you have to ask yourself, why would I tokenize something that's only going to exist for a month and then it's going to roll over to the next month, right? And then the micro futures that exist weekly, or even the 3-month futures. If you have an asset that's going to exist 3 months, you have to ask yourself, is it worth tokenizing, and can I create enough, or can I get enough legitimate players to the table that would verify that asset as legitimate, right? And that's where you have to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, what are we trying to do here? Like we're trying to create a tradable market. Like the verification of these assets is rooted in people's belief in it, which comes from the liquidity, and then it's rooted in the price, which also, that's effectively determined by the community. That's determined by the market. It's not determined by Shell or by Exxon. And that's really, when we step back and realize that, that was kind of an aha moment for us. We were like, wait a second. Again, you kind of got to, especially the investment community is going to try to pigeonhole you into doing something. Your community that you're listening to for product feedback is going to try to pigeonhole you into doing something. But this is the correct way forward. We're 100% sure of it.
Okay, and so I know you're talking to all sorts of partners right now and talking to maybe some regulators. What do you think this looks like a year from now if you get it right?
So,
what the London Real Investment Club actually does for you, it gives you the keys to open that door to the inside deals. In the last 3 weeks, I've participated in 3 incredible deals: a layer 2 Bitcoin protocol, an incredible AI protocol. The deal flow is beyond what I expected. I don't think I've ever seen a model like this that just gives average folks the opportunity to be behind the deals, and that's exactly what we've done. Not only that, you get to hang out with Brian Rose every week, and for me, that was huge because I look at Brian as somebody who's not only an expert in the space, and I think is on the leading edge, but just the leading edge of thought with London Real and the work he's doing there. To anyone who's taking a serious look at this, I know it's a big decision. It was a big decision for me and my family, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I wish you all the best and hope you come join us.
We're very pleased that not just in the United States, but across the world, we're experiencing a shift towards regulatory clarity when it comes to things like stablecoins and exchanges. One year from now, we would very much hope that, we are and become an institution that is recognized, and that mid and especially larger entities that span the trading spectrum, and this includes, quant firms, prop shops, big banks, like that, that class of investor, trust us, right? And anybody can go create a market, but again, ultimately crypto right now is, playing with monopoly money when we need to be going to Caesar's Palace and playing with the big boys, right? And that's really what I hope to see as the evolution, not only in the next year, but the next 5. And, regulation, it takes time. Getting governments on board takes time. We've really been we've been so pleased with what we've been seeing. And, the FCA in particular, right, which is the Financial Conduct Authority out of London, we brought this product to them about 15 months ago at the beginning of last year, and they laughed us out of the room. They were like, "No fucking way. We're not touching this." And then
blockchain. They didn't like blockchain or crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's like not even that they didn't like it, but I don't think they understood it. And some of that, the community drives the regulators' attention, right? Like all of a sudden you had this shift where, again, the BlackRocks of the world were bringing in RWAs on chain, which forced them to take a closer look. But then the FCA, even with no influence from us or from any of our partners, came back to us and said, "Hey, we think we can regulate this. We want you to come be part of the Innovation Pathways program," which is effectively a digital sandbox as well as a direct access point to regulators to help push products like ours through the keyhole of regulation to influence mass adoption, right? And there are so many organizations in the world that use that as a, kind of use that as a flag in the sand to even justify access, right? I can't go to the Goldman Sachs of the world without that. So, we want to continue to be on the forefront of those conversations. We want to help shape policy. And at the end of the day, everybody in crypto is scared, at least what I would consider, the consumer community, right? Like they're frightened of regulators and rightfully so, right? With, especially with the previous administration, all the Wells notices that were handed down and, all of the issues with Coinbase and Uniswap and all of, these ultimately wonderful companies that are pushing the envelope to be regulated the way they have and relegated the way they have. The community was fearful, but, it is a matter of education. Again, we're seeing this very historic deregulation, not just in the US, but across, I think, global markets right now. And again, our focus is on ensuring that we can bring this industry into, the next century in a way that's not only responsible for the institutions, but responsible for the consumers too, right? Because consumer protections are important, right? We've seen so many instances across, across history from, the advent of Dodd-Frank to the, collapse of companies like Enron that really, really harmed consumers. So it's not like the regulators are wrong in their fear and in their approach, but they do take massaging to understand what we are ultimately bringing as benefit, and that's something that again we're so focused on as an organization, right? And I do think it's something that sets us apart.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.